If you're playing Black Ops 6 ranked, then I'm sure you want to gain as much skill rating as possible and win as many of those games as you can. So I'm going to give you 10 tips and tricks to try and help you perform as best as you can in those ranked games. Make sure you stick around for tip number 9 because it is going to tell you how you can gain the most SR per game. So what are we waiting for? Let's get straight into number 1. Now, the first tip I'm going to be talking about weapons. Now, you're going to see a lot of people building classes for the Krig and the Jackal. And I'm not going to lie to you, these are great guns. Probably some of the best. However, if you're like me and you're struggling to use a gun like the Krig, or it just feels really inconsistent, then here's 2 alternative weapons that you can try that I think are also really, really good. And that is going to be the Ames 85, and for the SMG, try the Sorg. Now, the reason that these are really good, and you may find them more consistent, is due to their higher fire rate. And to put it in simple terms, the higher your fire rate, the more forgiving it's going to be if you miss a couple of shots. Because as you make those adjustments with that higher fire rate, you're going to be hitting more shots sooner. So if you're struggling with a Krig or even the Jackal, give these weapons a go. So you've got your weapons, now let's talk about objectives. Now this is specifically for hardpoint. You're going to want to know your rotations for the hardpoint. And the reason being is simple. You want to be the first person to that hardpoint to gain as many points as you can. And not only that, you want to set up a bit of a defense so that you can kill off the enemy team as they're coming towards you, enabling you to stay on that hardpoint for longer. This is going to help you win games faster and by a bigger margin, which is actually going to help in one of the points later on. So on screen, I will show you the hardpoint locations for Vault, Rewind, and Skyline. Yes, I know there's red card in the rank play rotation, but I haven't played a game of red card because everybody vetoes it, so I'm not even going to put it on. But get familiar with them, know where you're going, get to that objective first. Tip number 3. Now, this isn't aimed at all of you, but some of you need to hear this. This is not single player. You're working as a team. You're a team of 4, you need to work as a team of 4. So if you're part of a team, then work as one. If you want to use a mic and give call-outs to your teams, great. If not, then do pings. You've got a ping system in Call of Duty where you can ping things. Just work as a team, help each other on the objective. It's really not difficult. Tip number 4, I'm going to rant a little bit again. And this, again, is only to a select few of you, but some of you really need to hear this. When you're going on ranked, you're not playing a kill race, you're not playing team deathmatch, you are playing an objective and your aim is to win the game. So guess what? You need to play the objective, you need to hold corners, you need to trade off kills, you need to do all the things that help you hold that objective or win that game. No one cares what your kill-death ratio is at the end of the game as long as you win. Because if you have the best kill-death ratio in the game and you lose, guess what? You lose SR, so no one cares. You are playing to win. Okay, I'm going to stop ranting now. Let's get on to tip number 5. Tip number 5 I thought would be pretty self-explanatory, but I see a lot of people neglecting this fact. You're playing ranked. It's going to be sweaty. People are going to be trying hard because they want to win the game and they want to gain ranks. So if it's your first game on and you fly straight into ranked and you get absolutely demolished, well, I don't know what you expect. You need to warm up a little bit. You need to get used to the game again. If it's been a couple of days since you've played, go into multiplayer, have a few games, or even go into a private match, play against some bots, get your aim warmed up, because the people that you're going to be playing have probably been playing for a while and they're going to be trying their best to beat you. The same if you were going to do some exercise, do some stretches, get those thumbs warmed up. Get warmed up before you start playing the game. Moving on to tip number 6. Now, this tip is going to help you gain more points on the objectives. There are always going to be certain points on objectives which are better to stay in. Gives you a little bit more cover so you can gain more points on that objective for the time that you're there before you get killed. However, sometimes being in the same spot over and over again is really predictable to the enemy team. So you need to change it up every now and then so that when you're in a position, people don't expect you to be there and it gives you the upper hand. So I'm going to give you a couple of examples on hardpoint on the 3 different maps of places that you can go. Rewind. On that first hardpoint, instead of laying either side of the center where people would normally lay, try and lay next to stage. If you lay this way and look backwards at stage, you can see people incoming, and if you have teammates, they can cover your other side. For the second hardpoint, instead of standing by the van, lay down in this little spot. You'll be able to cover the door and then the entrance from the other side as well, where the little electrical boxes. And then for this hard point, try laying on the grass. You can cover people off coming from the other side while getting a little bit of cover from the car, and you can also see people coming from the main building, and you're not that easy to spot. On Skyline on the first hard point, everybody sits behind the pool and everybody expects you to be there. So try gaining a few points from being on the other side. No one ever expects you to be there. You're a little bit more vulnerable from the back, but because no one expects you to be there, no one really looks. On this hard point, everybody sits behind the desk of the kitchen, but try sitting by this window. There's a little corner that you can hide yourself behind, or even try sitting on this little platform because it gives you all the cover from one side and you just have to focus on the other. And when you're in the little bathroom, instead of sitting behind the tub, just get in it. And then on Vault, everybody sits behind this little ledge where it covers the pool. Why not just sit in the pool? You've got enough cover and you can cover off people coming in the front. And then when it's outside where these pillars are, instead of laying down using the little planters to cover yourself, stand behind these little pillars. It gives you full cover from the other side. As long as you can watch your back and don't get killed by them flipping the spawns, you'll be absolutely fine. Tip number 7 will tie a little bit into knowing where your next objective is going to spawn, because you need to be wary of also where yourself and your team are going to spawn. By rotating early or playing for certain spots, you can get your team to spawn closer to the next objective, so you've got better rotations. This can give you a massive advantage because you can pre-aim certain lanes where you know that they're going to be coming in to try and get the hard point off you. So just keep in the back of your mind, when you go into the next objective, try and take a route that will get you closer to the objective, so that if your team dies holding the objective that is still currently up, they will then spawn closer to the next one. If you've made it this far in the video, then guess what? You've earned yourself a special little tip. I've been in talks with the creators of Call of Duty Black Ops 6, and they have told me that if you subscribe to this channel, you're more likely to win your ranked games. You heard it first here. Click that subscribe button and like the video. So we're on to tip number 8. Now, one of the first things people do when they play objective game modes is they try and just pile that objective because they want to gain as many points as possible, and there's nothing really wrong with that. The issue is when your full team starts piling on the objective and you've got no one covering entrances or lanes or high points around the objective. You don't need to pile it, just get 1 or 2 of your team to sit on the objective and then use the other players to cover different angles, cover the high points, which will allow the teammates on the objective to gain more points and live for longer. And guess what? This is easier if you actually communicate with your team. Tip number 9, and it's the tip that I promise you want to know, and that's how to gain more SR per game. If you think it is completely random, well, it's not. The way to gain more skill rating per game is simple. It is a combination of 2 things: your score per minute and your win margin. So your score per minute is on average how much score you're getting in that minute. So that is going to be gained by getting kills or getting the objective. And then your win margin is pretty self-explanatory. The better win that you get by the bigger margin, the more SR you're going to get. And that's really it. That's how you can get the most skill rating. So you need to be playing that objective as much as you can and trying to get your enemy team off the objective. If you get a few kills in the mix, even better. And finally, we come to the end for tip number 10. And this one's a really simple one. If you're trying to improve at ranked and you want to get a little bit better, then when you're playing multiplayer, use your filter so you can filter the game modes that you want to play. Select control, hardpoint, search and destroy. By only playing these game modes, you're going to get used to how they play. You're going to get used to the spawns. You're going to get used to positions to sit in. And overall, it's just going to improve your playing. Not only that, but when you're playing multiplayer, you're going to have 6 enemies instead of 4. So you're probably going to get more gunfights. It's going to teach you to defend a little bit better, what positions to take, and overall just improve your gameplay. And that's pretty much it. That is 10 tips to help you improve in rank. Hopefully, I told you something that might help you. And if I did, then why not go ahead, click the like button down below. If there's anything I missed or anything that you think might help someone, drop it down in the comments below. I'd also really like to know if you're solo queuing or if you're playing with a team and what rank you are currently, and if you're hard stuck at a certain rank. I appreciate every single person for clicking on this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.